Hi, it's Christian. This is the feedback video for your first written assignment in English. The way this works is that I have corrected and commented on your text, and it has been uploaded in the iScore folder. I've used track changes, so you can see how I've changed your text and what I've added to it. There's possibly some commentary as well, which are either things that I'd like you to pay special attention to or things that I want you to consider regarding the structure or things that don't really hang together very well. It might be that I have highlighted things in yellow. That means that it's an error that keeps occurring and it's been corrected further up in the text. So instead of correcting it every time, I just start to highlight the thing in yellow. I don't know if that's the case with you, but that's how it works. So those changes and corrections are to do with the very specific parts of your text, words, grammatical issues. But what I do for the video is my general impression of your text and how I think you can improve your writing for next time. So I'm going to start by talking about how it's organized, the order in which you choose to write things, how you write paragraphs, a little bit about grammar, very little, and then finally how you might proceed in the future. So, first of all, you introduce your text, which is something that a lot of people forget to do because it seems so obvious. You've been given an assignment and you're solving it. But you have to, of course, think about the reader. There is a reader here that's a specific one because I've asked you to do an article for a specific publication. So the reader isn't me. The reader is someone who either doesn't know who Klitgaard is or has not read the text recently. So you have to keep that in mind. And also you have to think about how articles that you've read begin. So you need to kind of state, why are we talking about this? Why is it even relevant for me to write about this, and why would this be relevant for you to be interested in? So frame that and kind of hook your reader in the introduction, and consider how you can then give the reader like this red thread running through the text that they can follow very easily. The more you can facilitate the reader's understanding through your text, the better it reflects on you as a writer. Okay, so speaking of you as a writer, I think you have a pretty good grasp of how to write paragraphs. So they are working well, I would say. But there is something at the same time a little bit vague about this text, a little bit fuzzy. It is as if it doesn't really come to a conclusion or doesn't have like a point it wants to make. So I'm sitting here with this kind of, okay, then what? The way I see it is that you have chosen to talk about it, but Klitgaard cherry picks his examples to fit his point of view, and that it's a very one-sided text. And once you've established those two things, which I think you do, then the reader and me thinks, well, okay, so what does that mean? Is he completely wrong, you might ask, even though you're told that he's cherry-picking as a one-sided point of view. But even though he does that, he can still be right. Can he not? So is he right or is he wrong? Or are there points that are valid, but are there instances where it's not valid, etc.? So where do you stand on the whole intervention thing? You talk about the responsibility to protect something that obviously was not institutionalized at the time of writing, but then how does that fit that the values institutionalized in that principle, the responsibility to protect principle, where do they come from? And should we adhere to those values, or should we sometimes be more forceful in our use of military power? Those would be things that you can continue on talking about. Because the way you leave the text and the things you've chosen to look at, it seems incomplete. It's like, I'm not sure what to make of this or what to do with this. It's a critique of Klitgaard, but there is no. I don't get your point of view. I'm looking for you to tell me what you think about this. Intervention or not? What type of intervention? Values-based or more kind of pragmatic-based point of view that Klitgaard takes. What is it? Okay, so that's the organization and also a bit about the content. Well, I'm going to say a little bit about your grammatical errors. There are very, very few that are systematic. There are kind of errors of various categories. The only thing that I see you doing every now and again is subject-verb agreement. Look at line 11 and line 25 for an example of that. It's what's called congruence in Danish. It's something that you may remember from either primary or secondary school. If not, come and ask me. You can also Google it. It's very easy to find resources for congruence or subject-verb agreement. So it's not at the local level. It's not your writing or your command of the English language. It's more like how you conceptualize and what you choose to write about that can be improved in this case. So it's sort of it has good parts and it has parts that are not working that well. So in future, make sure that you have a purpose that you can phrase in a very specific way. What is it that you want with this text? What do you want your recipient to think or feel or do or whatever? So be a little bit more focused on the purpose of the text, and by extension, be a little more specific and precise in how you phrase that, so that you set yourself up as a competent and valid writer. Right now it's too fuzzy. It's got good parts and there's a lot of good things to work with, but you need to work a little harder at really kind of putting your message across. All right. Okay, so that's it for my commentary or my critique. I've given you a grade. If you want it, you can come and see me in class or at my office if you like. If you are someone who doesn't care about the grade and would rather focus on how to improve, that's fine with me. I only give grades out to those who want them. So I will see you in class. Bye.